everyone, old school Pokemon here, back again with podcast episode number 24, joined by my usual co-host, Catch 'em All Collectibles, Dan, and tonight we have a very special guest, Pokemon Radar, John. Great to have you on with us.
Happy to finally be here.
I know, 24 episodes in, you're finally here.
It's the Kobe number. It had to make it work, but
I like it.
This is awesome. I mean, I had both of you on my podcast, and that's been dead for a while. So it's awesome to finally get back and do some of this stuff and talk with you guys. I mean, I talked to Dan quite a bit on our Facebook Messenger, but Nick, we don't get to chat too often. So this is good.
I miss that content. Some of the best content YouTube's ever seen. That I miss that intro and outro too, like your classic one back when Nick and I were on.
Yeah, that was always fun.
That was a good one.
I think I changed it up quite a bit, but
these two guys here, I mean, John was the first YouTube content I was ever a part of, being on his channel, and then Nick got me to start a YouTube to start this podcast. So these two guys are the reason I'm here.
Dan's the reason that I'm broke.
If it wasn't for us.
Dan's the reason I'm broke, buying Pokemon Pikachu trophy cards and Fortnite and everything.
Ready to hop into the questions?
Let's go for it. You can get us started first.
So our first question comes from Java Akuma Pokemon. And I paraphrase this. It was a pretty lengthy question, but are grading companies to blame for abandoned submissions due to their horribly inaccurate turnaround times? He has 2 games out to WADA under the 35-day turnaround, and they're currently at day 140. Do you think that in a situation like that, where it was advertised as 35 business days and it takes over 140, do you think someone should get refunded the difference between the tiers? So my take on this, they're advertised as not being guaranteed, but that is a massive cop-out. I've mentioned this many times before, and I'll never really stop harping on it. It's a very simple math problem for all of these companies. They know their capacity. They know how many cards they can grade a day. As of today, PSA is about 40,000 cards a day. Back a year or two ago, when all this backlog mess started, I don't know what the numbers were, but they did. The second that they started taking in more than a year's worth of their capacity in the backlog, I mean, it's 100% on them. It should have been updated live, at least weekly. Just, okay, we've got 500,000 cards. We can do 20,000 a day. That's 25 days right there, right? I mean, and then just scale it from there. I mean, in my opinion, it's inexcusable why, and it's not just PSA. As you said, it's WADA, it's CGC, it's BGS. It's just absurd to me. And I think the whole like Mark's card situation, which we talked a little bit on the last podcast, I think a lot of that is blame lies with PSA, because what other industry, what other business takes in a customer's product or promises to deliver a product to a customer and then takes over a year and a half to do it? I can't think of any other industry where that's a thing. So I could rant for an hour on this myself. I'll let one of you guys.
How about Tesla? I mean, they took a long time to get their cars out, right? And all these.
Did they advertise though, like, hey, you'll have it next Tuesday, and then it like a year and a half later? Or I honestly don't know.
I think so. I mean, I can confidently assume so. But I'm sure there's a lot of fine print in there. Like you said, there's no guarantee. So it just sucks. And transparency sounds nice, but I think it would make things worse. So I don't want to know. I'd rather just like trust them to get my cards done at some point. I guess I have that luxury of being patient now and being able to wait. The refund between tiers is interesting. I kind of feel like there's something they could do. Let's just say I was a part of these companies offering some sort of refund for taking so long. That seems like a pretty reasonable thing to do, and I don't think it would be too expensive for them with all the business they're getting.
I forgot to address that part, but I also agree there. PSA actually released a podcast today, and we're recording this on Wednesday, or maybe they released it Monday, but it's going to be a weekly thing. They talked a little bit about their backlog. It's about 6 million cards today, and they did reference the new economy tiers, the cards they're taking in. They are promising, with air quotes, heavy, strong air quotes, 90 days, 90 business days. So we'll see if they I hope looking ahead, promise turnaround times are a thing, because again, it's very easy to do and it's very easy to meet. The second that you start getting in more cards than you can grade on any given day, turn off those spigots to the lower tiers.
So I'm gonna agree with you guys in the sense that these grading companies should have been more transparent about their turnaround times when they were fully aware that there was not a chance the estimated turnaround times were going to pan out. But I disagree with the fact that grading companies should be blamed for people abandoning their submissions. That completely relies upon the individual. The individual person who submitted these cards knew that the cards were going to come back at some point in the future. So I think they should have had that money ready to go, whether that's a credit card or just the funds available. That doesn't fall on the grading companies.
A lot of irresponsible people out there.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I gotta defend PSA to become one of the PSA 10 podcast guests.
Nick's trying to be a guest just because you're associated with me.
Are they asking for guests? Oh wait, your other podcast. What's the deal with that? You have like 30 people on there. What's the deal?
What's that? The Patreon one we
Nick's
did
Patreon.
with we just let anyone on there.
Oh,
Anyone who's
gotcha.
a Patreon member.
Oh.
But the PSA podcast, they're having they call it PSA 10, and they're having special guests on every episode. This past the first one, they had the president, and then they're going to be having other people that work for PSA or other people in the industry, collectors. Sounds like it's going to be a really good podcast. I'm looking forward to it. The first episode was good.
And I'm very critical of PSA, but props to them. Like at the top of every episode, they're going to give an update on the status of the backlog. I forget what it was called, but they had like a few different segments that they were naming. And then at the end, they're going to do PSA by the numbers. They said more on the demand side, what's coming in every month, like what came in. They've been posting those things too on Instagram, like the most submitted card for the month, the most submitted genre for the month.
They should do a live ticker, like the U.S. economy debt that
the
we had.
debt
Like they should do that with their backlog on their website.
That would be awesome. So my next question comes from Kai. How big is your $10 to $30 bulk tier grading pile? And have you considered selling any of it raw, or is it just not worth it? Kai has about 700 raw cards that would be $50 to $500 each once PSA graded. And he's not anticipating selling any raw. He's also buying a bunch of stuff that's being panic sold in Australia, buying stuff at 30 to 50% market value, graded and ungraded. I've also been personally being hit with a lot of collections, and the more collections that come my way, I mean, I'm one person, I can only handle so much capacity. So I just lower my percentage offer, and I've been successfully buying a lot of them too. So I don't know if I'd call it panic selling, but it's a massive hobby. There's so much stuff out there. There's always people selling something. And prices are, if you liked buying a year or two ago, you should love buying today because prices are down quite a bit from there, generally speaking. So as far as my PSA grading pile, $10, it's massive. It still blows my mind what some of these cards are selling for. Like I chucked 5,000 cards out to PSA into the backlog. I get the odd PSA 5 unlimited Bulbasaur, something like that. and they insta sell for like $18. Stop buying those cards, people. I mean, we're never gonna see $10 grading again if that stays a thing. So like from some respects, I've got 30,000 cards I could send at $10, but realistically speaking, I don't actually have that many, because I mean, I think like the bad cards like that are going to continue to trend down as PSA continues to wind through that backlog and as they open lower tiers. So I'm selling a lot raw every day, mostly through Troll and Toad. Some of them would probably be grade worthy if you look at $10, $20 grading and the graded cost today. But I think the bad stuff's going to continue to go down, and the good stuff's, some of the bottoms are already in, I think personally. High graded, WotC, PSA 9, PSA 10 hollows, first edition, good Japanese promos, things like that.
Are you selling a lot of hollows raw, or is this mostly non-hollow stuff?
Hollows raw would be like, I just bought a pretty big collection recently, similar to the one you sold me several months ago, like first edition and unlimited WotC hollows, but they're all like light play, near mint. So those I'm selling raw, because to me, even first edition hollows, 8, 9, 10, I think is what should be graded. If you're looking at unlimited, 9, 10 to me. So anything below 9, 10 for unlimited, hollow, 10 for non-hollow, and only of the more popular species. That's where I'm at. So at $30, I've got hundreds of cards, but not like thousands, because $30 is significantly harder. I mean, right now we're at 50. I can send as many as I want to my middleman for 50, and I've only sent a few dozen. 50 is a lot. 20, 25, 30, I've got multiples of that. 10 is really like a sweet spot psychologically, and just I mean, the fact that I've sold some pretty rough PSA slabs for like $15.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been thinking about this myself recently. I have probably 500 to 1,000 solid hollows, reverse hollows, whatever it might be, from vintage sets. But I have, 5,000 plus vending series cards and other things like that. Where is it worth waiting for that one day where they open up $10, $15 tier and I just submit it all at once? Or should I be selling these things raw, near like perfectly mint, because I'm peeling them myself? And I don't know the answer to that. I can't get myself to sell it raw. I feel like it's wrong, but there's also plenty of that stuff available too. So it's really hard to make that decision. I mean, I can't make it right now, I guess, other than the only choice I have is to sell it raw. I'm not sending in a vending series, even like a Mewtwo at $50. That's not worth it.
No, definitely not.
Maybe the Uyama's Pikachu. That might be the only one. So we'll see. What are you doing, Nick? You sell thousands of these things raw every day. So
yeah. So I back last year when everything was going crazy, I actually started to go through so normally I set aside, like Dan was saying, WotC hollows, first edition 8, 9, and 10, unlimited 9, 10. I also do first edition bulk 9, 10. But then back during all the craziness, I started going through all my unlimited bulk, and I was planning on submitting 9, 10 unlimited bulk. Fast forward to today, I actually just recently decided to list all of that stuff as just being near mint condition on eBay. So it's just not worth to hold on to it anymore. And so I just decided to recuperate some money off of it and slowly sell it as just near mint cards. But with like with the Shadowless base set, I still have all of that stuff that I had. Unlimited base set, I did keep the unlimited base set stuff, because I think that stuff's will be good to grade in the long term. Base set's always going to be base set. It's always going to be popular. But yeah, I probably have a few thousand cards to send off in that $10 to $20 range, and then similar to Dan, a couple hundred in that $30 to $50 range.
But you don't want to send it at $50. You want to send it at 10 and get upcharged.
Yeah, exactly. That's the ideal situation right there. That's the ideal situation.
We're just greedy people living in 2014 wanting $6 grading fees.
And 2-month turnaround times.
Yeah.
Those were the days right there. But yeah, I am optimistic for PSA to get back to those lower service levels. It sounds like it'll happen, according to, or from what the guys were saying on the podcast earlier today. It sounds like that's what their intentions are, to bring back those lowered service levels. And they did say they were trying to introduce another lower tier towards the middle of this year, so summer-ish, which that'll be nice if it does happen.
Yeah, and I think that's where one of the big buying opportunities is. I mean, I haven't really bought any collections, but that definitely sounds like a great opportunity for people if they can find them. And just if you're able to afford it, at least to hold, to sit. I mean, you can always, like, that's the thing most people did in the beginning, was buy collections, sell off the stuff you didn't want, and break even, and then keep what you wanted. So that just sounds like a great that's the buying opportunity in a downtrending market, I guess, is those type of deals.
And we have a question later where we'll get a little bit deeper into like cash flow concerns, though, because if you're buying everything, it's tough because right now you're not getting cards back quickly, not for cheap at least.
So my first question comes from Sean J. He asked, how do you feel about error cards? I know you have a big collection of no damage Ninetales. Is that where it ends for you? I've never really been a big error guy, but I like the no damage Ninetales, Ghost Pikachu, and the no hit points Dark Persian a lot. The minor errors like ink dots or factory damage like crimped cards, miscuts never really piqued my interest. Although I like that there is a niche for those types of errors in Pokemon, because I am able to sell those types of cards easily. I would agree with everything you said there. Obviously, I love the no damage Ninetales, but in terms of just generic errors and like even errors outside of the no damage Ninetales, really not a big fan of error cards. I do like the Ghost Pikachu. I think that's a cool one. I like the evolution box War Turtle. That's another cool one. But aside from that, I'm really not a big error person. It's just the Ninetales for me. But there's a lot of people out there who are absolutely huge into error cards, and there is, if you have like the right type of card, like if it's severely off center or miscut, there's definitely a really good market for those types of cards. One thing I cannot stand about error cards I'm constantly looking through the Pokemon Facebook groups, and those groups are just getting absolutely flooded with people having like the most tiny little bit off center card, or just a little like sliver of a crimped card, or some little red dot, and they're asking about how much it's worth and whether they should grade it and send it off to CGC and all that stuff. And I can't stand all that.
It's been like that forever, Nick. Everyone's got a one-of-one ink blot. But I don't collect errors, but I absolutely love the no damage Ninetales, the non-hollow Dark Dragonite, even like the Blaine's Charizard corrected version, like that stuff where they corrected or was like an actual error, I guess, like that. Those are cool. It's fun to discover that, like finding whoever found the Team Rocket sheet with the Dragonite on the uncommon uncut sheet. Like that's super cool. Finding out that they potentially, I still don't really believe they only come from long crimp packs, but like finding that out, like I found out like one of the boxes I Gym Challenge boxes I bought a long time ago. Like I found a difference in the box that led to a theory that that's where the corrected Zard came from, and it was right. So like that stuff is real. That stuff is legitimate. There's like really someone who screwed up in the process of making the card. So I think that's pretty sweet. But if anything that has to do with ink, like little ink dots, not a fan of. Missed cut, don't really care for too much unless it's like really, really bad. Like maybe have the cut like on your sheet, like have the color blocks on it, or have like 4 cards in one or something. And I do, for whatever reason, like the base set offset hollow. I think Quachancy has a Chansey one.
Yep.
Those look cool. I mean, that's just like really clearly, oh, that sheet got jammed or something. And like, yeah, that stuff is cool. I don't really collect it or have much of it, but it's fun to find and fun to hear, like find the history behind it. So yeah, that's a good way to put it. Stop with the ink dots. Just stop.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I appreciate kind of how some of them are neat. They have neat stories behind them. Like Radar mentioned, especially when they're corrected, like when the error or the difference isn't the entire print run, because there's some of those that exist, like the 23,000 Arbok or whatever. But in every single case, the market values them more than me. I don't collect or own any. It's cool when I get one in a collection buy, because I'm like, oh, I can sell this for a premium. But yeah. It was really fun and kind of exciting. I bought a collection from a guy that I used to work with, and flipping through his binder, I'm like, I'm going to have to like dash this guy's dreams that there's not much here. Just flipping through, I see a Dragonite first edition. Let me check it. It was because it was a non-hollow Dragonite, but I knew the error existed. Just a random binder from a guy with not much going on in it. And then there was a first edition, no hollow Dragonite. 5 out of 5 out of, what is that, 82? That set?
Yeah, 82.
Graded it PSA. I think it got a 9 because it was borderline 8-9, and I think I got the 9. So and I was like honest with the guy. I'm like, I'm not seeing much here. I could give you a few bucks for it, and I'm like, oh man, that's a decent error card, and I gave him hundreds of dollars for the binder. And I mean, I made out well too, because it graded. I thought it was going to be an 8, but it got a 9. So cool story that I'll remember for a long time, that came from an error card. So like, I appreciate that it all exists. Just the market likes them all more than I do. So you won't find them in my collection.
Except for your inked Squirtle over there.
Oh, I mean,
that's not an error. That's
this is a masterpiece, I would call it. No, imagine, this is a rare ink blot Squirtle. The ink blot just happened to make him Squirtle Squad.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So my next question comes from Admiral. It's actually looks like a 2-parter. So if you had to choose which you think has more long-term growth potential between Neo Shinings and Gold Stars, which would you pick? And then there's another question of this or that. And it's between first edition base Gyarados and first edition Shining Gyarados. So
ooh, that's a tough one.
It is really tough. I think they're both pretty tough because they're all great cards. The Neo Shinings, the Gold Stars, first base, and then Nick and I were asked quite some time ago in a podcast what our top 3 or top 5 arts were. And in both of our top, that Shining Gyarados was in it. So I'm so bad at picking bests or favorites. And I think these are 4 great things. If I had to pick, I'd pick the Gold Stars over the Neo Shinings.
Interesting.
And then I'd pick... It's so tough because like the popularity is just high on all these, but it's like, I would say it's higher on the Neo Shinings and it's higher on the first base, but the print run is too. So you've got like quite popular, quite high tier things, but they're in such different proportions.
It's
I'd
first
go with
at
first
base,
base.
man. It's got
I'd go with first base because it's first base.
You
There's
have to.
way more first base Gyarados out there than Shining Gyarados.
Is
And
there?
I like the Shining Gyarados art. I would say so. I like the Shining Gyarados art better too. But first base is first base.
Yeah, that's
So
the correct answer. First base is first base. You can't.
I'd go Gold Stars and first base. How about you guys?
I'm gonna completely disagree with you on that one.
Oh man, I like it.
I'm gonna go Shinings and the Shining Gyarados actually. So first the Shinings. I just think there's more people with a connection to the WotC era than there are from the EX era. And I think Gold Stars have there's probably a slightly smaller print run of Gold Stars, but there wasn't many Neo boxes and the Neo Shinings printed either, because that was a fairly low point in Pokemon as well. So yeah, I think there's more of a demand for Shinings versus Gold Stars, and personally, I prefer Shinings over Gold Stars anyway. And then with the Gyarados, Shining Gyarados was the very first Shining Pokemon. It's got a fantastic artwork, where first base Gyarados, it's first base, which is really cool, but it's a Gyarados, which nobody cares about Gyarados.
Gyarados is a favorite.
No,
It's PokeRev's favorite. It's all, Gyarados is the favorite of a lot of people.
Base set.
In base set, yeah, I guess so. As I sit here with my Shadowless PSA 10 that I bought.
What would you go with? Are you going with
that's wild to hear from you. You're first ed base, like that's all you're about. You love Shadowless in first ed. That's amazing.
I know.
John's
the
tiebreaker.
Had to shock the audience there.
I'm definitely like personal and long term. I think first ed base Gyarados is the right play. I mean, it's clear that the artwork's way better on the Shining, but it's first ed base. That's just the answer. There's not much I can really go into detail on that, I guess. But as for the Shinings and the Gold Stars, it's like
it's tough.
I feel like the Gold Stars have been pumped up a lot. So from a long-term perspective, and it will always be, people will always claim that the EX series is super hard to find. And yeah, sure, we have seen a lot less boxes, but it's too big of a set. It's too much to handle. I think the Shinings are much more like digestible for collectors. And also the Japanese ones there's way too many Gold Star Japanese cards versus Japanese Shining cards. So I like that aspect of it as well. So I'd have to go with the Shinings on it. I just think it fits better and it falls within a better era of Pokemon and a more collectible period of Pokemon. The Gold Stars are just too different with each other. And it's just I think it's just a weird mishmash of Pokemon and a weird thing to collect, I've always thought. So Shining and first ed base is what I have to go with.
Great question, because it split us right down the middle, right?
Yeah.
You had the right answer on one of them, John.
He did. So my next question comes from JR Cards. What are your thoughts, opinion on the Metazoo reserve list being announced on the Discord and updated yearly? How will it affect your future purchases and holds? Thanks. I didn't even look at the entirety of what's on it. I think I don't fully know how to feel about it because I'm not familiar enough with Magic to fully know the effect that it has. I think the way that it works, a lot of it, like obviously they're not going to reprint Black Lotus. They're not going to reprint a lot of those Power 9 cards that are on the reserve list. And probably for the Power 9, they're not even going to reprint something functionally equivalent because they were just way too powerful. But I think for like later cards on the reserve list, I think some functional equivalents come back up. on a different art, different name card. For Metazoo, will that be a thing? How will that all interact? I honestly have no idea. I'm not doing anything special because of it. I didn't go and buy out anything. It's interesting, but I'm not doing anything with it.
Well, you're the one to answer that question. You're the biggest Metazoo fan out of the three of us.
I mean, I've been involved in Metazoo quite a bit, and it's like I still can't figure it out how. I mean, it's clearly all this stuff is being manufactured to copy, at least in my head, it's being manufactured to copy Magic, Pokemon, everything, right? What were the Magic Power 9 and reserve lists? Was that manufactured from the start? Did they say, okay, when we make this, we're going to make these super powerful cards and then stop making them after the first few sets because it's going to make everyone nostalgic about it and make them super expensive? I highly doubt that with Magic. Highly doubt it. So I have a really tough time getting over that hump with Metazoo. Like, I think they're doing everything very well, but I can't stand that manufactured rarity, that manufactured copy of everyone else. So sure, there's gonna, like, that just screams buyouts. That's gonna happen, like 100%. I'm sure there will be like promos and collector editions released just like Magic did. So you're going to see more copies of it. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't play the game, so I don't know how much the players care about that. Like, are there players? I don't know.
That's
exactly what I was going to say.
I think players
it doesn't
don't
matter
exist,
that
right?
they have a reserve list because nobody plays the game.
I don't know. I don't have the numbers on that. I know they started with some tournaments, but I haven't heard anything since. So it's
they've announced some big prize pools apparently. I think they're going like the Fortnite route. Like, they're bursting onto the scene. Obviously, they don't have the size of Fortnite and all that, but they're like putting some eye-catching pots out. I think they did a $10,000 tournament and maybe a $25,000 tournament, and maybe it was total purses, maybe it was for the whole year. But recently in the Discord, $250,000 was posted on there somewhere, and even a $10,000 tournament, $25,000 tournament, that's on par with what like the winners of Pokemon Worlds get. I think they get it used to be a $10,000 scholarship. Maybe it's a 25 now. But
I think those sales of the NFT coins have been helping with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting to see all of it kind of being copied and manufactured into one game. So it kind of makes sense that it's working because it's very calculated and very well done the way that Waddell's doing it. I don't know if it'll work or not. Well, is this creating nostalgia for people? Is this creating real collectability for people? Are they enjoying it? I can't. We won't know. I mean, we won't know. So I don't like it, but
yeah, I can't see the player base of Metazoo. People actually playing the game and collecting the individual cards. I think it's more so sealed product. People just holding on to sealed product, collecting all the 1 of 100, 1 of 1,000 promos, stuff like that. And in terms of like the prize pools for Metazoo tournaments, like you were saying, I almost think they have to have some type of really good prize to get people in the door actually playing the game. If they didn't have a prize, would people actually play the game?
It's hard to even fully know because like we're still in this weird world where travel's tougher.
Yeah.
I mean, like Pokemon regionals for Florida just got canceled because whatever mandates or lack of mandates or whatever guidelines are going on there didn't mesh with Pokemon.
Is Worlds canceled? Is that going on?
I doubt Worlds is going to happen.
It hasn't been announced.
No.
Okay. Yeah, no.
I'd be shocked because they have like from 2.5 years ago. They have a partial season under their belts. The people who were qualifying as juniors are like ultra masters now, or
they're all
like,
dead now.
It's like the people who at some point we're going to get to where like the juniors that are going to be playing weren't even born when the last I mean, I hope it happens because London is tough. I don't know if I'll make London, but I've every year I've been like, I hope it happens this year so that next year it can come back and I can go.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I hope we get it again sometime soon. Because DC was the first Worlds that I went to.
First and only, first and last.
Exactly.
Nashville was fun. DC was fun too.
So my next question also comes from Sean J. Do you think it was a mistake for CGC to opt for a grading scale that is harsher than PSA? I often wonder if they would have been more successful if they matched PSA's grading scale as well as matched PSA's pop report for percentage of tens given.
Does PSA have a grading scale? Does anybody have a grading scale anymore? It changes every 2 weeks.
It's true. I do think they would have been more successful had CGC been more like PSA, where they hand out tens like candy. But
yeah,
I can also see why CGC is partially as harsh as they are. Like BGS, their BGS 10 is nearly impossible to get. So I think CGC was trying to go that route, but they kind of went that route across all of the 9 grades, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. I think if you could kind of mash BGS and PSA together, where CGC 10s were really tough to get, similar to BGS 10s, but CGC 9s and 9.5s were a little bit easier to get. I think that would be the ideal world. Because right now, everything just comes back CGC 8.5 and 9, and that is brutal. I don't know. What do you guys think on that one?
Yeah, the 8.5 meme is real. I'm surprised it's still happening. I think the graders there are just stuck with that number. I don't know why they're giving every single card a Surface 8.5. I mean, I haven't graded with them in a long time because of that. And they actually reached out to me on one of my submissions because I think somebody was watching one of my Instagram lives, and I literally 95% of them were 8.5 Surface. So it's just been odd. And there was a point CGC started to change their, I guess, grading scale. They were pretty lenient in the beginning, or I want to say lenient. I think they were honest in the beginning. Things were good. And after the first 4 months or 6 months, things just seemed to flip. And that's when all the 8.5 started coming. And it just got way too harsh. I don't know if they told their graders, look, our 9.5s are comparable to PSA 10s, and I don't want to see 10s out there unless it's truly, truly a perfect card. So it's just, yeah, I haven't graded with them enough recently to know what's going on with them, but from that question of you hit it right on the head. If they were a little bit more, I guess, reasonable with their 10s and their 9.5s even, they would be more successful, or people would be happier at least.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why, but my mind just went to that meme. Guys literally only want one thing. The market literally only wants one thing, and it's labels with a 10 on them. CGC would absolutely be more successful if they get. It's a fine line to walk, because it's funny. If they were to come out of the gate and give 43% 10s, that's what PSA is putting out day after day, roughly. Gem rate is an Instagram and a website that follows that daily and weekly. And About 43% of cards being graded of the 40,000 cards a day are PSA 10s. If CGC put out that quantity of 10s, people would say they grade too easy. Almost guarantee it. That would be like an early criticism of them if they were to match PSA's 10 rate. But the 9.5 was a mistake because it thieves some cards from the 10, and being so difficult was a mistake because people want 10s. I sell tons of them every day, and a lot of them look the same as my 9s. There's a massive overlap between PSA 10 and PSA 9 on what condition is allowed. That's really all I can say. When CGC's pop report comes out, it's going to be really interesting to just take some of these like mass graded modern cards that people are grading, like Pack Fresh, Promo Pack Fresh, Sword Shield 50, Champions Path, Elite Trainer Box Promo, Charizard. The bell curve for that, the average Champions Path Charizard is a 10. More than half of them are PSA 10. When you look at where the bell curve lands on CGC, it's going to be like 8.5 to 9.
Yeah.
I've already been successful in crossing a few CGC 9s to PSA 10. And I'm not saying universally every CGC 9 is going to be a PSA 10, but many will.
Are you cracking them and sending them? Or are you doing?
I never send stuff in case. I did it one time years ago. I crossed one failed. PSA 9 first edition, Charizard and Blastoise. I sent to BGS and the Charizard got a 9.5. At the time that I did it, the Charizard was like $3,000. So it was scary to crack it. Now I'm cracking $3,000 cards without, like, my Burn Tower 10 was a CGC 9.5 and it crossed to the 10. I had a Burn Tower 9 that crossed to a PSA 9. But yeah,
How's that grand party look that I sold you? That's CGC 9.
I think it's a PSA 9, honestly. Yeah. So that one's probably going to just stay a CGC 9. It's nice, but more often than not, I think it would grade a PSA 9. Yeah, and I don't really want to.
I just sent, I bought a Beckett 9.5 first edition Chansey, which was a quad plus. So there was 110 subgrade, which was centering, I think. And I just sent that to PSA in the case to be reviewed. Probably a waste of $100 and some dollars, but
tinfoil hat. I don't think they can be unbiased because for them to take that card in, well, there's two things. There's two things at play. One, they don't have a good look at it.
Right.
You're looking at it obscured through plastic. So they're not going to risk it. Like if it's a 9.51 that they're going to round up to a 10, the worst thing they can do to you as the customer is crack it and send it raw to you. Because now you don't have a BGS 9.5 and you don't have a PSA 10. They don't want to do that. Yeah. They would rather take your money and send it back as a BGS 9.5. So
I have to try once. Gotta try once, but
especially Chansey, it really does make sense. Like the numbers, the math of it.
Yeah.
Because if you hit it, it's big. But I truly think you're substantially less likely to get it than if you send it raw, just because one, it's a more obscured view through the case, and then two, bias.
Yeah.
They'd be admitting in some ways, they'd be saying a BGS 9.5 is a PSA 10, and that's like an ego type thing.
Yeah, I've been thinking because I cracked my 8.5 Shadow Zard, sent it to PSA, got a 9. I'm thinking about sending it to Beckett to get a 9.5 because it's beautiful. And then maybe again the PSA to go to the 10, but we'll see.
I have two grand parties here, and it's funny because one was a CGC 9 that, 90% chance if I sent a CGC 9 to PSA with a minimum grade 10, that thing's coming back to me as a CGC 9, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But CGC 9 and PSA 9, cracked them both out, both PSA 10.
Yeah.
And again, I mentioned it in the video that I made. Not every CGC 9 is going to become a PSA 10, but like there was a selection bias. I picked the cleaner, nicer ones that I had to send out, and they achieved the 10. This other grand party that I just bought from you, I'm probably not going to crack it because I think it's a lot less likely to get the 10. But yeah, I truly think CGC grades too hard. People want 10s. That's
Even if they want to make their 10 grade really hard, make their 9.5 a little bit easier. Make their 9.5 the PSA 10.
I think people would rather have 8s than 8.5s as well. So like get rid of the 8.5 grade and that'll make people way happier.
Yeah. But now, I mean, they've graded 1 million cards. They're kind of stuck where they're at.
Yeah.
If they were to make a massive change, it would look even worse, I think. So for now, given what's out there, buy where you see value, and I see value in buying CGC slabs at auction and then crossing them if I need to down the line. So my next question is a pretty interesting one. I mean, we've had a lot of interesting ones already, but Koro Pokemon, PSA is advertising Guarentee for their grades. But when challenged, we have seen lately that PSA declined that they did anything wrong. He references my PSA 8 first edition Charizard and then TCA Gaming's opened packs. Should we just consider the Guarentee dead now? So anyone unfamiliar, PSA has a financial, what do they call it? PSA financial guarantee of grade and authenticity. So theoretically, if you buy a PSA 10 card and it doesn't meet their specifications, their parameter for a PSA 10, you can send it back to them. They'll regrade it, give it the proper grade, and then pay you the market valuation difference between a 10 and a 9, 8, whatever it gets upon regrade. And then if it's fake, like if they slabbed a fake Grand Party, they would just give you the entire market value and destroy the card, presumably. Years ago, I talked about this on the forum a lot. I actually successfully, years ago, I opened an EX Ruby and Sapphire box. Everything was pack fresh, gem mint, beautiful cards, mint plus, I guess. And like 6 of them had big creases in the top right. They were all graded 9s and 10s. And at the time, EX Ruby and Sapphire, PSA 9s and 10s, like Magmar EX, Hitmonchan EX, Mewtwo EX, $50, $60, whatever they were. So PSA just paid me out because they were graded 9s and 10s with creases in the top right. They didn't admit to damaging them there. I'm 99.9% sure they did. The way I packaged them, it couldn't have really happened in the mail. I opened them myself. I wouldn't have sent them if they were destroyed out of the pack. But basically all they said was, yeah, we missed this when we graded them. We'll just stop talking to us. We'll give you $200 and go away. The problem is now the numbers are a lot bigger. I had one other successful guarantee. It was a PSA 9 Gold Star Charizard. At the time was worth about $1,000, and it had a crease in the foil. They regraded it to a 6. They paid me like $600 or whatever it was, and they were good about it. But it was a 3-grade differential. And with the EX Ruby and Sapphire ones, it was a 3 or a 4-grade differential. They had no way of saying like, yeah, that massive crease, that's a 9. We're going to leave it a 9. But today what I've seen, and I think the most egregious example, you guys all know Professor Oak Cali.
Yeah.
He has a Nidoking, and he has Nidoking, and who's the other one? PSA 10 Shadowless Nidoking is the worst. I forget what the other one was.
It's just print lines, like hollow scratches.
City, hollow scratches, back whitening.
Piss on the back.
It's like a rough 7.
I want to give that card with my Shadowless Charizards. Be like, give me a 10. He's
done it. He's tried everything. He's sent it to them multiple times. The head grader has deemed it a 10. And then he's sent like, okay, here's like 6 or 8 PSA 9s. He's like, if that's a 10, review these against that and give these all 10s too.
Yeah.
Didn't work naturally, but I used to say years ago, only review it if it's more than 2 grades off. So if you have a 10 that you think this should be a 9, they're never going to drop a 10 to a 9.
Right.
Years ago, I would have said they're only going to drop a 10 to an 8. Now what I'm saying, given what I've seen, you got to be 4 grades off to have any shot. Like, because Oak Cali's cards are 7s at best. Like, and they're refusing to do it. And the crazy thing is, a PSA 10 Shadowless Nidoking is like a couple grand.
Yeah.
Like it's a decent amount of money, especially given it was probably graded years ago for like $5 or $10. but they should do the right thing and they should show that the guarantee is real, but it's clearly not. I would hope and I would assume if you had like a gold star, if I sat on that gold star 9 with a crease in the hollow for a few years, and if I sent it in today, I think they would have to, but I don't know. Like, given what they're doing to Oak Cali, I just don't know anymore.
Mike's probably on like a no-fly list with them or something, because I'm sure he's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
With his shadowless cards. All the shadowless graded cards are the most like just varied in all of Pokemon existence. I have seen shadowless 10s that, yeah, like just like that one, even Charizard's 10s that are 7s at best.
Yeah.
And shit, like I don't know what happened during that early era of grading shadowless cards, but they are all over the place. So I'm sure he's been trying to figure out, like he's always looking for the best ones too, and moving things around and trying to get 9s bumped up to 10s. He's probably been doing it for years, so he's probably not liked very much anymore at PSA.
Well, he
Sorry,
sold
Mike.
the 10 set, and then I think he's got a new 10 set built aside from Charizard and Chansey, I think.
Yeah, I
The
think
two
so.
hardest ones, but
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's including the ugly 10 Nidoking or if he has a good 10 Nidoking.
who knows? He's had like
I would hope he was
15
able to use
Poliwraths.
some of the money from that first PSA 10 sale to buy another Nidoking.
Yeah. So
yeah, I've never utilized that guarantee. I've always just like read about people in E4 threads back in the day complaining about a few $100, and then remember the Trophy Kangaskhan that was supposed to be the first 10 at PWCC that was graded a 10 but was a 6 and that was damaged there. Like that was kind of the downfall of the PSA guarantee, was that card. So
story behind that being somebody caught it, messaged PWCC sent it back to PSA without like consulting with the owner, and then PSA reslabbed it a 6 with no,
or maybe a 4 or 6,
whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was with basically saying the guarantee doesn't apply. This is its new grade. Live with it.
Yeah, a Trophy Kangaskhan from a 10 to a whatever.
A 6-figure.
That's brutal.
At the time, maybe it wasn't yet a 6-figure drop, but like very, very high 5-figure. Today, 6-figure drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it all depends on how much your card's worth. That's what the guarantee has. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
And it's like that. Do you guys remember the PSA 10 Charizard that was on eBay forever, and the guy wouldn't show the back pictures?
Ashamed of its backside.
Yeah, exactly. And he would tell he had like in the description that he had like the whole outline of the PSA guarantee and how someone could buy it and send it to PSA, and if/when it came back a lower grade, you'd get a refund. Just got to be careful about that stuff.
PSA
won't
is
always work
never.
out.
They're never going to financial guarantee a Charizard. From a 10 to a 9, you're talking $300,000+.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because Gary graded most of them. Gary graded half a 10 pop report for $5 a card or less.
Yeah, exactly.
In bulk. How many, like, that would be an entire year's worth of revenue back from when he graded them almost.
I mean, I bet they could, I bet one thing that they could probably do is like take the date of when it was graded, figure out the price point at that time, and give you the difference then.
Yeah.
Like,
this was graded when it was $700 when Mark bought his, and so we'll give you $650.
Yeah.
Make it an 8. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's our thoughts on the financial guarantee. So my next question comes from 3D Dynamics. It was a pretty lengthy one again, so I paraphrased it pretty heavily, but the question was regarding binder collections on eBay seemingly being strategically listed and photographed to bait inexperienced buyers, and the fact that some of these on eBay will go for a premium, kind of more than they should, more than they even would being graded. So how do you or do you vet a seller based on what else they're selling? What are kind of some red flags to look for in your opinion on collections of that nature? So for me, if someone is selling if someone is selling one binder collection and they have very low eBay feedback and they don't really sell anything else, what I see is this is someone selling their collection from their childhood. It could be a mixed bag of whatever. But if you see a seller, all they sell are two things: mixed lot collections of raw, near mint cards, and then they sell like graded cards.
Yeah.
They grade the good stuff, they lot up and sell the other stuff and kind of pump it up, oversell it. So if it's one binder and that's it, it could be anything. It could be good, it could be bad. If it's 50 different binder collections and then like a handful of graded cards, there's going to be nothing worth grading in there because they've already pulled them out. Those are kind of the ways that I think about them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easy go-to. That's a quick shy away. Other ways to vet buyers is really simple with how eBay has it set up. Just read the reviews, even read the positive reviews, because for a time you couldn't leave negative reviews. So you'll find some in there of all caps of beware, buyer beware. So do a quick little look to vet your sellers, but you don't have to buy that stuff. So just stay away from it if you don't like it.
I don't like how the question's phrased. Wait,
Well, that was Dan's.
I paraphrased it. It was
like how he said collections strategically listed and photographed to bait inexperienced buyers to go for a premium.
They're out there, though.
I just think that's smart selling. But you gotta hear me out here. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
when you're listing something on eBay, you want that thumbnail image to have all of your hollows on it. And then the first few pictures after that to have all the hollows on it. And then all the non-hollow garbage you want to have towards the end. So I think that's just a smart selling strategy.
That's solid marketing.
There we go.
But in terms of the actual question, I would agree with what you guys said. Look at their feedback, look what else they're selling, look what they've sold in the past, stuff like that.
Don't buy binders from Nick. I actually have my strategy when I sell them, because I don't want them to come back, and I always way undersell what I have. Like I have a couple stacks of damaged, heavy play, creased, bent. A lot of them are. That's pretty harsh for some of them though. Like there might be some PSA 7s and 6s in there, but I always weigh like these are really bad. Don't buy them. But if you do, like I just want them gone. I want a little money. I don't want to throw them in the trash. But I also don't want a negative, and I don't want them to come back.
Well, you can list those PSA 7s as near mint, because that's what they are.
Yeah.
See, I spend hours trying to find the right angle where you don't see that crease. No kidding, obviously. Do you guys have anything else for that question?
No, that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Covered it.
So my next question comes from Chase I. My question is in regards to scaling up your operation. I found it quite hard to maintain a high level of accuracy, efficiency, and effectiveness as I continue to take on more clients and subsequent increase in sales. For both you and Dan and John, what would be your top tips for being more accurate, efficient, and effective beyond the low-hanging fruit of Sheets, Excel, getting part-time help, etc.? Perhaps something like a program, routine, scheduling, organization, etc. Thanks for your time and keep up the great work, guys. So for me, the biggest thing is organization. That is far above and beyond anything else, especially with my business model, if you will, selling quantity over quality. Organization is the key to that type of business. You got to be able to know what you have, so you're not selling cards that you don't actually have. And then you got to know where certain cards are, so that you're able to pull those cards and ship them out quickly, so that you're able to save time and all of that stuff. So that'd be my biggest strategy right there. As far as a routine and schedule go, I don't really stick with a too rigid of a schedule. My really the only real thing that I do consistently every single day is when I wake up in the morning. I first thing I do in the morning is package orders, get all those done for the day, just to kind of get that out of the way. But that's aside from that, it varies day to day. So I don't really have a schedule or routine or anything like that. But for me, organization's definitely the biggest one.
One thing that comes to my mind that blew my mind when I heard it, I don't know how you ship without packing slips, Nick. Because like I've occasionally mixed up and sent like a PSA 10 to someone who ordered a 9, or like I grabbed the wrong card, hollow versus non-hollow, something like that, stupid. But the way that I kind of like mistake proof my shipping is I have a packing slip and I just quickly, this is John, PSA 9, first edition, whatever. And you do like a stack of them, right, Nick? And then you just like pull the card. I don't know how, like the first day that I tried doing that, I would be one off at the start and then everything would go out to like the next buyer. And I just have a day where 50 things were wrong. So the way that I prevent that happening is using packing slips. And then like I pull everything, packing slip, shipping label, just in a tall stack. And as I go through them, I check, okay, this is John, this is Mark, this is whoever. So that's a way I like error proof in shipping. But all that said, I still, once every few months, hey, I got the wrong card. They send me a picture. Oh crap. Refund them, keep the card usually. And then if it's something big, like I usually double check, triple check when it's over $500, over $1,000, something like that. Generally, when I've made an error, it was like a CGC 9 McDonald's hollow promo, and I accidentally sent the non-hollow one or something.
At least it's low value stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do complete opposite of you guys. Once I got to like 10 orders a day, I said that was too much work, so I stopped doing it and started selling the high-end quality stuff, I guess. But I mean, it's still, yeah, organization's always the key for stuff like that. It sounds like this guy is ready to hire some people, or maybe like look into getting some actual software. I mean, I don't know if you have any sort of barcoding system or inventory system that for you guys, like
I don't
I'm like there's got to be an at-home solution for something like that that's fairly easy to use and easy to track. Because I can't imagine doing what you guys do. Like I have 100 listings up maybe on eBay, and I take sometimes like an hour looking for a card because I just don't remember where I put it. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like this guy's ready to, if he's serious about, like, if you ever use the word scaling up your operation, you're pretty serious about what you're doing, I feel like. So
yeah,
maybe take that leap and go for a business loan or something and hire some people, get a warehouse. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty good thing you're doing. So yeah, or just do what I do and do less work and sell bigger cards, and or just be happy with where you're at and don't do any more. I don't know how, it's all personal situation stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys are listed on your screen, and I don't know how it'll be for the viewers, but John and then me in the middle and then Nick. Nick is like the low dollar, high volume. I'm in between, and John's like the ultra low volume, ultra high margin stuff.
Yes.
So I've got this on half a screen, so it's probably not how the people will see it on YouTube, but it's the way I'm seeing it right now.
If you want a successful business, though, you got to do it like Nick. If you want to live in a stressful world of not knowing what's going to happen next, you can do what I do.
Exciting. Don't say stressful. Say exciting.
Exciting. Yeah, exactly. But no, you don't have any programs, do you, Dan? Because I do everything in Excel.
Excel's great.
Excel, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have I don't have much. I mean, I do a lot in Excel for buying collections and valuing different things and roughly tracking inventory. I use them a lot for like sales, but or for taxes, I mean, is what I was going to say. But yeah, no special program other than that, and no single spreadsheet that's just tracking every inventory item I have. It's just a big mess, kind of a
organized chaos.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Organized chaos.
Well, hopefully that helped out a little bit.
Yeah. So my next question comes from SDC or SD Collectibles. What level of market research do you do on sales demographic? Who's buying your product or viewing your videos? Male age 20 to 40, live in Midwest and Texas. Do market demographics matter to sales? I've looked at my YouTube analytics a couple times. 30-year-old men in the US, like
Yeah.
Little bit, I mean, decent bit of international, but Rudy makes his jokes, right? Like, what is he? 3.69% women viewership. Mine's like 0.69, maybe. My demographics skew very heavily towards like I'm a 31-year-old male, so that's like my average viewer. And as far as sales, I don't know or think about who exactly all is buying it.
I don't care.
I don't get too deep into like metrics. I just throw up a bunch of listings on eBay. I try to be the cheapest one on eBay for what I'm listing, and 50 to 100 items sell a week, and I ship them out and I rinse and repeat.
Yeah, demographics don't matter. eBay finds the buyers for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've never spent a single second thinking about who my cards are going to.
My YouTube right now shows 99.7% male. 58.6% US.
What's your US ratio?
58.6.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I didn't realize I had as many international viewers as I do.
I'm just looking at my Instagram. I have 63% is US. So that's
I didn't even know you could see that on Instagram.
Yeah. And then 25 to 34-year-old men. That's 72% of mine.
I gotta pull that up now.
I don't keep track of where people are buying from or who's buying what or all that stuff, but I do kind of
yes, you do for Texas.
Yeah, that's true. I do kind of like remember at least how roughly how many sales I have in Massachusetts, just because that's where I live. And it's actually very infrequent that I have a sale in Massachusetts. So that's really all I keep track of. And then I do notice a lot of heavier stuff that I mail out, like bulkier items that can't fit in the flat rate boxes. Those always seem to go to the West Coast. So people on the West Coast like to buy big items that are hard to ship.
Write that down. That's a good note.
On Instagram, I'm 2/3 25 to 34, and then 88.3% men.
Man, you
wow.
got a lot of girl followers on Instagram.
Hey now.
Oh. Hopefully the wife's not still watching. I'll be in trouble.
She's gonna make you shut down Instagram tomorrow.
She doesn't ever watch my YouTube.
Especially not this far in.
I'm gonna send her a little clip of this part.
So I think, my next question comes from Kai again. He popped in with some questions a couple days ago to add. Have PSA 8 to 9 unlimited base jungle and fossil hollows fallen too far relative to heavy packs, quite cheap, able to buy and flip for about 25 to 100% margin. When we were talking earlier, unlimited, I mentioned like 910 for the hollows. So I guess I'll stick with that. I don't know where these are at, but PSA 8s, if I had to guess, they're probably as cheap or cheaper buying them PSA 8 in the slab versus buying like near mint on TCG Player or Troll and Toad. I don't necessarily think that's like bad though. Pokemon's been in a weird place for a long time where cards just sell for too much of a premium in the slab. Certain cards should lose the greater money, and they're just not. Like a PSA 5 Unlimited Bulbasaur that I talked about earlier. I should have been punished for that. No one should have paid me $15 for that. So these PSA 8 Unlimited Jungle Hollows that might sell for like, because I sell them on Troll and Toad. I want to say some of them go for like 10 to 20 bucks. They're probably 10 to 20 bucks PSA graded. So some people might see that and think like, oh, they cost this much raw. They should cost this much plus a premium for being graded. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think a lot of cards should have 0 premium graded because there's just so many out there. Unlimited isn't literal, but it's pretty damn close. They printed a lot of base Jungle Fossil.
Yeah, I think that conversation has kind of run its course with premium just because it's slabbed. And we're finally getting to that point too, where I think packs are just going to be a lot more expensive. Well, no, they're saying heavy packs are quite cheap in comparison, or that the cards are cheap in comparison to the packs.
The cards are, yeah, because I think the heavy packs are a couple $100 still, a few $100. So they're saying the hollows, like,
yeah, we're just at that point now where packs are going to be wildly expensive in comparison to what you'll actually pull, and just people will pay for that gamble.
Look at base first. I mean, people are paying 20 grand for a base first heavy when you could pull the best card. I went to Vegas and I pulled not first edition, but Shadowless. I pulled the Charizard. It graded an 8 and it was worth 2 grand. You can buy a base first heavy pack, open a Charizard, and it gets a 9 and you barely break even.
Yeah.
Like there's 1 or 2 cards in there in the 10 grade that will make you money, but most times you're going to lose money. And that's how it should be. There's only there should be a gambler's premium built in. You should lose money opening heavy packs.
Yeah, I think
something that old.
First ed base has finally hit that point. It's taken this long to get to where sports Magic even is for stuff like that. All the other Pokemon sets aren't like that yet. Expedition is cheap to buy, and there's so many good hollows you can pull and make money on. So there's still room in there in other sets, but it will follow eventually. Every set will be like that, where it's not going to be worth it financially, but it'll be worth it for the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just I think I just looked up a PSA 8. Speaking, we were talking about Gyarados earlier. So I had a PSA 8 unlimited base Gyarados, and those were still selling for 50, 60, 70 bucks. So I think those are still pretty high for a PSA 8. I think those could still fall a bit more, because PSA 8s, like I said, or like Dan and I said, usually to grade, we both aim for 9-10 on unlimited cards. So PSA 8, that's something that I would sell as just near mint on eBay. And I was actually just listing a whole bunch of near mint unlimited base hollows, and I list those for 20 bucks a piece. So for an PSA 8 copy to be selling for 50 to 70 bucks, I think those can still go down a little bit more. And I think we're going to see pop reports increase a lot more on like the PSA 7 to 8 range on unlimited WotC hollows. So I do think those can fall a bit more.
That's so awesome. You could still pretty much complete a base set, like binder set, for really cheap.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But do you guys think there's any opportunity in these super low pop unlimited WotC hollows, these PSA 10 like Neos and like even Gym gym sets. Like there's
I
very
think the
low pop
only
PSA
one
10s.
is if you want to chase the Neorev Ampharos and be the first
Sell
one
to
to get
Zach.
a 10 to sell to Zach. That's the only opportunity there.
That's a good play. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan of low pop, especially unlimited. It's low pop because no one graded it.
Exactly.
It is
right,
hard.
but
It's
a
hard to
thing,
find the
like,
product to open it, and then the rates are so low. I get it to an
like
extent, but
it's like evolved at this point. Like there was it's at that point now where it's so expensive to go for, and it's so low that it's actually like it's built-in rarity. It's it's not like
condition rarity. I don't
Yeah.
like condition rarity.
okay.
Every PSA 9 can become a PSA 10 if you submit it enough. That's the camp I'm in.
You gotta make t-shirts that say that.
Yeah. Every PSA 9 is just a PSA 10 waiting to happen.
Let's see. Not this one.
Look at, and if you ever question that, if you ever don't think that's right, look at Oak Cali's Nidoking.
Yeah.
that Nidoking's parents told him he could be whatever he wanted to be when he grew up. And he shot for the stars and he made it. He's a PSA 10.
All it took was money being submitted multiple times.
Yeah.
That maybe who knows.
It's a good analogy right there.
That one had to be a first pass 10 because no one would look at that and say, "Oh, I'm gonna crack this. I got robbed." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
and people would say, "Oh, I don't know if that one's is that a 2 cert or was it like a 4 cert?"
I think it was a relatively new one. So I think it was a 4 cert.
I was gonna say people would say the whole 2 cert thing, whatever. It wouldn't happen again. It still happens.
It's a 2
I try to
cert.
not like when
okay.
It's a 2
when I
cert.
graded. Oh, okay, it was.
So that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's gotten
here
a
we
lot
go.
harsher.
When I grade a 10, I take pictures of it, I put it on eBay, and I sell it. I try to not look close at it because, like, if you really look close at them, 10s look like 9s to me a lot of the times.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to see anything. I just want to sell it.
And every 9 looks like a 10, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So my last question comes from TS FIFAs. So you both do Pokemon, eBay, etc. for a full-time job, which for some people would be an awesome job to have. What would make your day-to-day job even better? Or what better perks of the job do you wish it had?
401k match, insurance.
Mm-hmm. Those are two big ones right there. For me, having more space would be the biggest one.
Gotta buy that house.
Right. That's every collector's issue. Or, I guess hoarder or hoarders.
Exactly. That's what it is.
I moved in with a collector, so me and her it's even worse. It's so bad.
And then having more space, hopefully at some point in the semi near future, once I get a house, having someone to package orders for me would be like a dream come true. I would love that. So that'd be another big one for me. And then just not having everything rely upon me. Cause like when you have your own business, I don't know what you guys do, but you kind of feel like you're always on the clock. So like if someone sends you an Instagram message at 9-10 o'clock at night, I'll usually respond back to that message right away. Mm-hmm. So there's never like a time where I'm completely okay, I'm done for the day, no more messages, nothing going on till tomorrow or until Monday. Even Saturday, Sunday, I spend a few hours every day answering messages on eBay, getting stuff listed, getting cards sorted. That's usually when I'm the most productive with the stuff that I need to get done just for myself, because there's no packaging going on. So it would be nice not to just be working all the time.
Well, that makes sense because you don't have a routine, like you said. So
That is true. That is
coming,
true.
but that's one of the hardest things to do just as a human is to set a disciplined routine, especially when you don't have someone to set it for you. You have to set it yourself. So yeah, but that in it on its own would create more issues. So just different ones. It's an endless loop of never ending stress.
So Nick was describing an employee, and that's the last thing I want. I'm very happy not having employees. Um, it's funny. Nick just closed down his Troll and Toad Evo account. I actually we traded.
Oh,
I bought out his Troll and Toad Evo inventory. They're transferring it to me. And then I traded with him a lot of my TCG player inventory. I haven't closed it out completely, but I haven't added new cards to it in like 2 months. Once a week I'll get a thing and I'm like, crap, I need to just empty that out. So I quit getting sales. I'll sell a Versus Seeker for $2 or whatever, and then have to plain white envelope it, and I hate it. But Troll and Toad Evo is like employees without the official title of employees and without any of the paperwork or headache. Really awesome. So yeah, Nick's mentioning about wanting someone to package for him, and he just fired all his packagers down in Kentucky. Which is just a funny thing I figured I'd point out. But what would make my day-to-day job better? I don't know. I'm really happy. I really like. I'm
awesome.
I'm glad I took the leap.
Took you long enough.
Yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I definitely have the benefit of a wife for like health insurance. I don't have to worry. Like that's a big thing for people leaving their full-time job, having to worry about health insurance, at least for US people. I set up an S corporation and I have a 401k through my business, and my boss is a pretty cool guy. He's chipping in employer match. So 401k match is there. But yeah, I cards to sell higher so that I made more money. I don't know really what to say to make it better. I mean, it would be better to have to work less hours and make more money, but that's kind of common sense and unreasonable things to ask for, though.
Yeah, I think I've never really gotten set up to the point where I made it truly feel like a business. I've always kept it so relaxed and just kind of unruly, which it was fun, but also just not the most efficient way to go about it. It's allowed me to stay sane at least. But like the one thing that hit me really hard when I was working like a lot in the beginning was just the fact of not working with other people. So like I had to start a podcast. I had to do something to like interact with somebody. That was the hardest thing for me when I first took that leap and started working full time. Like there was a lot of pressure on me. So I was just working 16, 17 hours a day and not talking to anybody. So that was really hard to start. But now I've balanced it too far on the other end where I'm just talking to people too much and not doing enough work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. One thing Nick mentioned too kind of resonated with me. I try to be good about it, but I'm not as good as I should be. Like I try to just work from 8 to 4:30 and then turn it off, family time, at least until the kids go to bed. Sometimes in that time frame, I'm checking my phone and replying quick to messages, and I need to be better about just like shutting it off. I guess that is like one thing that could be better, and it's just something I'm not doing well. I need to just turn it off, only be available during business hours, and that'll be a negative to some people though. I'll get some amount of extra negative feedback for not replying quick enough on eBay, but I just need to like see that as a cost of doing business the way that I want to do it.
Yeah.
It's tough though.
Yeah, I've gotten really, really good with that. It took me a while to get used to because you talk to people around the world in this business, so you're getting messages 24/7. And especially again, when you start and you're really grinding, like you feel like you have to answer every single one because you don't want to miss that opportunity. So yeah, that's a really hard thing to do for people. It took me a long time, but I'm much better at it now. Because people are patient. They'll wait. You might get a bad review, but most part they'll wait.
Yeah. So I've got 2 more questions to bring it home for the Q&A portion. Kaio got us for another one. Would you rather hold strictly as an investment over the next 10 years, $10,000 worth of high grade, low pop Japanese promos, or a PSA 7 first edition Charizard? Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. I like first base because it's first base. And I feel like I've been buying big collections of it recently because I kind of feel like it's one of those things that maybe bottomed. But what was stipulated here was the PSA 7.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about PSA 7s, even though it's first base and it's Charizard. I just have this thing against anything below like PSA 9 for whatever reason. It would really depend on which specific low pop Japanese promos. Like Burn Tower, I don't know what low pop means exactly. Burn Tower's relatively low pop. It's a beautiful artwork. I don't even know what it's worth in a 10 right now. It's one of those cards that's hard to value.
Like 3,000 to 5,000 or something.
I think the lowest on eBay, I listed mine. I think the lowest on eBay at the time was like 5,800. And I think I went like 4,800. I think the last sale was like almost a year ago for like 3,500.
Wow.
At least on Pokemon Price. Maybe there were private ones. Maybe there were other ones that aren't showing up there. But I'd rather own a few cards like that, I guess, than the PSA 7 first edition Charizard. Part of it being I have higher grade PSA first edition Charizard already. But like investment too.
Yeah, we're not talking for your collection here. We're talking investment purposes.
Yeah, you have nothing.
We're
an
investment
else.
channel.
I don't like that word with Pokemon. So like, which one do I think will be worth more money? Right, is the real question.
And someone's got a gun to your head, so you have to answer.
It's really tough, but I'd go with the promos, and I don't know which exact basket of promos I'd pick. I guess. I need to really dig into it to find out which ones felt the most undervalued, but I think you could put together a basket of Japanese promos that would outperform the PSA 7 Charizard for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Higher risk, higher reward with the low pop Japanese promos. Base at Charizard, if you're I think the money would just kind of sit there, not move too much. In moments it would move a lot, but overall after 10 years it wouldn't move too much. But the Japanese, the low pop promos, I guess there's just a higher potential, I think, to make more money because you're more diversified, and that's what they teach you. So if more cards, more diversified, I'd go with that.
I'm going to say save up a little bit.
That's not part of this.
And buy a PSA 8 first edition Charizard. Because like you, the PSA 7's a little but if you could save up and buy a PSA 8,
that's not part of this, Nick.
Nick's cheating.
Now, even with those two, low pop Japanese promos or a PSA 7 first base Charizard, I would take the Charizard. I really don't know Japanese cards. I don't have any interest in most Japanese cards. So for me, I like the Charizard better. I think there's a lot of people, there's a lot more people who know Charizard versus these obscure Japanese promos. So I think your buyer pool is going to be a lot higher. Obviously, the population is going to be a lot higher, but it's more of a liquid item, I would say.
Definitely the safer bet. But
yeah,
we're trying to make money here.
Yeah. Risk it to get the biscuit.
Well, yeah, that shows what kind of investors we are.
That is true. That is true.
So the last question here, shiny light bulb 1,000. This one came in today, and I think it's a really good one. Looking for like money management advice or some commentary around money management. It is so easy for me to overspend in this hobby, and I sell about one item a week on average on my eBay store. So I'm often spending more than I am selling. I know this question is kind of vague, but do you both have any tips on how to not overspend that you've learned over the years? The hard part for me is seeing a really good deal on eBay, and I think I can flip that and make my money back plus some extra, but it takes a while for it to actually sell. So I'm out that money until it sells. So I think the most important thing is like taking stock of your situation and setting a budget. Like, I don't know, some people listening to this will be like the three of us doing this full time, needing to pay themselves some amount of money every month to like live and have shelter. Figure out what your cost to live is, figure out what you need to pay yourself, if anything. Or on the opposite side of that, like if you've got a good job, stable income, all that, figure out your budget that you can allot to Pokemon over every given month. And a thing that I've said over and over, great deals come up every day. Every day there are like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of deals out there being sold on auction or some random websites. John's trophy hunting 3 days a week in the mornings on YouTube. Be careful buying all the good deals, because sometimes like these once in a lifetime deals, they might pop up like every other year. I've bought some massive collections that if I was like eating up all my cash flow, buying every great deal, I would have missed the amazing ones that I wasn't expecting. So like the way that all works for me, I mean, my wife and I live pretty basic, and thankfully like her income almost covers our full household expenditures. So I don't really need to make too much money to like pay our bills or do our daily stuff. And I know like what I try to do is I try to look at what my sales were for the month, and I try to make my buys less than that. I'm really bad at it. Really bad.
As we see from your purchase videos.
Yeah. So
it's a super simple solution, but it's
easier said than done a lot of times. So I set goals for what I want to pay myself on every year. And I do have some bare minimum though. Like I'm maxing out my 401k and things like that. So I do have some bare minimum amount that I'm going to pay myself every year. And yeah, if it gets to where massive collection comes through and I haven't using credit cards and having some amount of money in the bank to like smooth things out. A lot of times the strategy that I'll take, a $50,000 collection comes up on Heritage, I'll just buy it and then I'll just sell more the next few weeks and get it all sorted out. But it looks different for everyone. It depends on your situation, and you just gotta, generally speaking, you've either gotta sell more than you buy, or if you have a stable job and you're like constantly putting money in, you've got to at least like stay under whatever your budget is.
Yeah, or just sit back, call yourself a collector and deal with it. No, yeah, it's really, really simple. Is putting it on paper, putting it in Excel, putting together a budget. I mean, I've used, what's that? There's like personalcapital.com. There's Mint. There's plenty of resources to like put all that stuff together, calculate everything you need, and yeah, self-control. I guess maybe go see a therapist. Self-control.
Go talk to Jake.
Yeah, go talk to Pokenomics. It's tough. Like I will forever struggle with that. We will have like, that's just what collectors do. And when you're constantly looking, maybe stop looking for a little bit. When you're constantly looking, you'll always find something.
Oh yeah,
that's a good point.
It's tough to not be looking with your phone though.
play
Everything's right on your phone.
play a game. Download a new app.
I've missed, like, I've been good. I've been bad in that I've been buying too much, but I've been good in not like searching eBay. I'm still a very small channel, but I've gotten a lot more. Hey, this is my collection. Buy it from me. I've been getting more of that, and then Golden Heritage PWCC. I usually look there, but I've been good in not looking at eBay auctions. But I've been missing it. Like, I've been actively missing it. So it is tough.
You're having eBay auction withdrawals.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I used to be terrible, absolutely terrible with money. When I was working on the ship, I'd come home with a nice big fat bank account, and by the time I went back to work, I was almost back down to zero. But a lot of that money went into Pokemon, so it worked out well for me. So that would be my advice. Live life on the edge.
It's a great motivator. No, it's a great motivator. Like,
there we go.
I've heard it plenty of times with like someone like Norm Macdonald, comedian who passed away, but he went bankrupt or lost all his money, gambled it away, I think 2 or 3 separate times. And then it like motivated him to go back and do a new movie or go back and do a new show and make more money.
Yep.
So
yeah, that was always my motivation to go back on the ship, go back to work, is couldn't afford to be at home anymore.
We lost Dan. Where'd he go?
Dan left us.
I'm here.
But no, luckily I got a lot better with that.
Yeah.
Now that I am full time and really relying on myself to make money, I have gotten a lot better, especially recently. This year I'm starting off strong about passing up certain opportunities and kind of waiting, like you said, Dan, for that, passing the good opportunities and waiting for the great opportunities. So hopefully I can keep that up. That's one of my goals for this year. We'll see how that goes.
Maybe just like send it one time, spend all your money, see how it feels, and learn from it. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, having to eat is like a good motivator. If you don't know where your next meal is coming from, if you're running that tight, it's a good motivator to get stuff sold.
Yeah.
That's a really good question though, because 8 years into it now, I still like, I'll occasionally have a month where I did a collection buy video a month or 2 ago where I spent like 35 grand with Heritage and then another 5 figures on eBay viewer collections. And I've run a little bit tight here and there, but it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I locked up a lot of money in these trophy cards, and I don't want to sell them. It's so hard. And I've been sitting on this PSA 9 first edition Blastoise for a long time. And I heard you messaged me the other day about selling one. I was like, maybe it's time to sell it. Maybe I got rid of it. But like, I wanted to put together a PSA 9 set, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, I go through phases. I go through phases of collecting and phases of, like right now I need to sell stuff. So time to load some stuff up on eBay, do some whatnot streams, do whatever. But I don't know. Sometimes it just takes that experience of, like you said, what's my next meal going to be? I don't have enough money for this. Got to pay rent. So it takes some life experience to get there.
Yeah, I'm still in a state of, I have thousands of cards yet to come back from PSA and CGC. I still have, like, people can't buy it if it's not listed. And I still have a big backlog of things to list. So I really should just spend a month halt buying anything and just list. But I don't. Before this started recording, we were just talking about Golden, and I've got a tab open for when we're done so that I can like browse it quick.
Yeah. But like, that's like, at least the stories of like the local card shops or collectible shops that I grew up by, like they just accrue stuff. And by the time they're ready to retire, they have millions of dollars in inventory and they can fire sell it if they want and have a great retirement little nest egg. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's sometimes like it's good in a way to just like struggle and hold on to stuff and just accrue and forget about things. It can be. It can also be awful, but
It's worked out well. Like I wish I fire sold everything in 2020, right? Like I wish I just that's hindsight is 2020. But my first several years of just hoarding everything, and like I started with $5,000 and I bought collections and sold off what I didn't want and rinse and repeat to build up to what I have now. And my backlog and my kind of overbuying really, I mean, that's why I was able to quit my job and start extracting money out of this, because that all worked out well. But
that's what happened to me too. Like
definitely fortunate in a lot of ways that it went that way. I mean, I didn't start buying in 2014 thinking I was going to be quitting my job, doing all this full time at any point. Part of that's just luck that I was passionate about something that many other people became passionate about years after me. So I was kind of in early, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I just accrued a bunch of stuff. I spent all my money that I had extra on Pokemon, and like you just got to that point where, oh, I'm making more money doing this than my job. I can leave. And that's not gonna, I mean, that's not lasting forever. I mean, it's slowed down significantly, obviously, since last year. Like even I'm looking at other opportunities, hoping to find another job. Like I want to make this a side hobby again. At least until the next like crazy boom. It can just be a cycle, you know. Because I'm not built out to grind hundreds of orders a week. It's just not for me. But yeah, it's quite stressful living life on the edge with something you love doing or love having. So
that it can be. That is my feelings every single Monday. I can't stand. I hate Mondays. Between all the packaging.
I thought that was supposed to, like, after you leave a company, after you leave your 9 to 5, you're not supposed to say that anymore.
No, it still applies.
Sounds like you got to work harder on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're really revving up TCG Player, so it's only gonna get worse. Well, TCG Direct though, right?
Yes, that's been working out well. I'm really excited about TCG Player. I've been kind of slacking on eBay lately, listing new things on eBay because I've been focusing so much attention on TCG Player. I opened so I had 20 boxes of Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, and Battle Styles listed on eBay for, if they sold, I would lose a little bit of money after all the eBay fees, the shipping, and all that stuff. And they just weren't selling. So I ended up opening all of those boxes, and I'm starting to sort through the cards, get all those listed on TCG Player. I'm at the point now where I want to turn this into a video, like comparing TCG Player to Evo. I'm at the point now where I have 14,000 cards listed on TCG Player. And it takes up 3 monster boxes, which is definitely not worth $45 a month in rent. But yeah, no, sales have been going well. I just qualified for TCG Direct, which is similar to Evo, where they fulfill all the individual orders, and then
you got to store it though, and then you got to ship it
every
to them.
$300 in sales, or every 2 weeks, whichever comes first, you have to mail whatever you sold to TCG Player.
And they're like 40 minutes from me. I hadn't realized until like a year ago, maybe.
TCG Player is hiring a head of partnerships, but it sounds like they're not as great as Troll and Toad here, huh?
Oh, they're way better.
Troll and Toad's awesome.
No,
But yeah,
Was
we're
that-
done with
was
our
that-
Q&A. We've
that
kind
was
of
all the
just
questions?
transitioned. Yeah, we've kind of
yeah, that was all the
transitioned into
questions.
whatever here.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Golden. We were talking about it earlier. There's a lot of crazy things on there that I don't think I've ever seen go to auction. So you're going to have to go through those. You're going to have to do your own video on it, but there's uncut sheets galore. There's a beta starter deck case,
Oof.
or like just sealed, not like a whole case, but a sealed.
A display of like
sealed
10,
display.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a lot of crazy things. I don't know what Golden did or who they made contact with to get these things, but they've got some wild items in their new block now. Of course, the Illustrator and Trophy Pikachu and all that.
What do you guys think about the Illustrator? We were talking about this. I don't know. Was it the Patreon that you were a part of, Dan, or was it one before that?
The
We were
one
talking
I was
about this in
in.
one of our Patreons. What we thought the Illustrator would go for, whether it would be
Is this the PWCC
higher or
one?
lower than the previous PSA 7.
Is this the same one?
No, this is a different cert number.
Okay. And the last one sold at PWCC for how much?
I think
Something?
it was 375.
375. And that was peak
Yeah, that was
2020.
Yeah.
I think there's more awareness now, though, of trophy cards today than there was then.
I would
And
say so.
there's been public sales of illustrators from Japan that were higher than that afterwards. They graded better, but I don't see it doing, especially mixed up with such incredible items. I don't see it doing much better than 350. So maybe right on par with the last one.
I would think it would be the same or slightly less. It would. So I just pulled it up. It was sold in late February of 2021, so almost exactly
Okay.
a year ago. It'll be really interesting to see. It starts tomorrow, it looks like. So
And they're like 30-day auctions, I think.
yeah, pretty lengthy. It'll be really interesting to see. I think I don't see it being significantly down, but I also don't see it being significantly higher.
And there's not a lot of great marketing from Golden on this stuff usually. So I don't think it'll shock anyone. Might be a good time to buy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I got an extra 400 grand sitting around.
Yeah.
I didn't spend.
Yeah, if I was spending $400,000, it would like I get that it's consistently sold for decades now as the highest in the hobby, but it's not my ultimate chase in the hobby. Like I would much rather have any of the original Pikas.
I'd rather have that first edition sheet that's up there.
Yeah, I mean the Illustrator is cool, but the market values it. Well, one, I don't have near the money to think about buying it, but other things that I don't have near the money to think about buying are a lot better, and they're cheaper yet. So
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I don't know.
It'll definitely be fun to watch that one.
Yeah, this whole block that they have up is pretty historic. I think it's got a lot of crazy stuff in all
a lot of
TCGs.
games too.
Yeah. This could be a good sense of the high-end market and where it's at today with the amount of big items that they have.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just traded a Trophy Pika, PSA 7 full art, the number 4.
Did you talk about, because I was in your live early, you talked about it later?
It was, so last week I showed some of the stuff, and then earlier today I went over kind of like the rest of the stuff I got. So I mean, I bought that thing for $19,000 at the Chicago National, the Sports National, and I think I got roughly what I was asking for, 35 in trade, maybe a little bit more depending on how some of these things sell. But I just got a mishmash of items. I got a PSA 4 first at Charizard. I got a Pika ring that was it's got a little dent I think that's why it was graded so low. I got a phone card Articuno. I got Giovanni Scheme. I got a CGC 8 Shadowless R. Just a mishmash of solid cards, mostly like lower graded, low tier trophies essentially, for a low grade high tier trophy. I think the long term play is to hold that Pika, but it was ready to move it. It was my extra 4, so I think it was a solid deal for the both of us, and happy to move that. I mean, those things don't move around too often. I don't think there's been a public auction or sale of a full art Pika yet. Has there?
Not in years. I remember years ago, I think it was a raw number 4 that sold for like $3,000 on eBay, because I was bidding on it at the time, and it was like, that was a ton of money back then. But that was like 5 years ago, maybe a long time. I would love, like you mentioned, we got another half art coming up on Golden. We had one on Heritage. We had a couple on PWCC. We've not seen a full art, and it's kind of weird because they're like the more recent ones, and they're the more plentiful ones, right? 6 per year per place instead of 3. And I own 4 of them, so I have a vested interest in seeing what they do. So
yeah,
I don't want to be the one to send one to auction, but I want to see someone do it.
Just my opinion, I would value the full arts more than the half arts. I think that I'm not a fan at all of the half arts.
I like the half
full
arts,
though,
I like
real
the
cool.
full arts more, like the artwork of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that's what a lot of people have been saying recently, is that the full arts would do better, but I don't know, because of the year attached to it. I don't know.
You've got the age, you've got the rarity going for the half arts, right? So the objective measures, the half arts win. The subjective, some people lean towards the full arts, maybe some people lean towards the half arts. It's hard to say.
Yeah, there's just so little awareness. Like, getting a 10 on any of those is nearly impossible. Like, even the half arts too, I think. But just the full arts are notoriously not 10 candidates. I mean, you've graded a few, right? I've graded a few now.
Yeah, I've graded 6 in total. I think I graded every one I ever owned, and 5 were 9s and 1 was an 8.5.
Which I own now.
Yep.
Yeah.
The number 2.
The number 2, which is the one oddball. I have a full 9 set except for that.
If that graded a 9, I probably still would have sold it, but I would have definitely been a little more patient with it. Yeah. That was a quick flip.
Yeah. I want to regrade it, but
it's tough.
Yeah.
Even if you downgrade it to an 8, you're going to get upcharged probably. Like the tier that's going to require is going to be high, but maybe you sneak through since there's been no public sale.
I graded the number 1 PSA 9 at, I think, the $500 tier, maybe $300 tier. Didn't get upcharged.
Wow.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the 300 allows for a $5,000 card. Realistically, you should have been upcharged to like the $2,000 tier, which allows for 25 to 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, no one knows about them. It's just still.
Yeah. They're in an interesting place. We'll see what happens. One thing with the full arts too is, like, we're in this weird spot with Worlds being canceled, delayed, whatever. If 2020 Worlds had happened, I think like the general opinion was that it was going to be full art. They did 10 years of the half art. Presumably they were going to do 10 years of the full art. Well, now we're at the point where potentially the third Worlds is being canceled, and they had done 6. So are they really going to do a 3-year gap and then come back and do what would have been the 10th year, stick with the full art? Or are they just going to shake it up and say, hey, we've been out of this for 3 years. We're on like all these new designs in the TCG. let's do a new trophy. And then it'll be an interesting thing because the half arts had 3 per year and they went for 10 years. So there's like 30 of each, right? 30 of each art by place across the years. Everyone in their minds had kind of thought, well, each full art's going to be 60, but we kind of got paused at 36.
Yeah.
So 36 is still more than 30, but it's not like the double 30 that we thought we were headed towards. There's kind of an interesting thing at play there.
Yeah. I mean, I'd assume they stay with the full art, but they'll change the graphic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like what other design could they do? They're still doing full arts. They could do a hyper rare. That'd be terrible.
Will they do rainbow rare gold? Like
I hope not.
Full silver, full bronze. Like
I hope they do not go rainbow rare. That would be. I mean, mine would look way better, right? And
that's true. That's true. You might want them to go that route.
Maybe it would be bullish for the ones I own.
They just stop it entirely. No more cards.
There we go. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine they change it up though. I'm sure they were sitting on those 2020 trophy cards somewhere.
Oh yeah, like what happens when those leak out? When the festival packs leak out?
Yeah,
because they have to have all that stuff.
I'd say at least 2020. I don't know about 2021.
They might not have printed them yet because it was March when everything shut down, right? I don't think they officially canceled Worlds until later, but I forget exactly when it was.
I think
it was probably
June or something.
May.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know when they would print that stuff, how much notice, because I don't think...
they printed Celebrations back in June or July. But that's a regular mass printed set.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's a strong possibility in my mind that the 2020 Worlds promos and everything were somewhere. Maybe they destroyed them. But who knows?
Probably some snuck out.
Oh yeah. I always do. They always do.
Yeah.
There was another illustrator listed on Zen Market for 1 point some million recently.
Graded or
no, raw.
Wow.
Raw. Another Pokino special, another extra copy.
There's more extra copies than there are actual copies at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff too rich for my blood.
Yeah, same. I just like looking at it.
Dreaming about it.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk on what is it? 2.5 weeks now? We're all gonna be in the same place.
Yeah.
Orlando Collecticon.
Orlando Collecticon.
I cannot wait. I am so excited for that.
Did you guys go to the last one?
I've not been to a Collecticon.
Make Dallas.
Because I heard the last one was just kind of a meh. It was just like they tried to put on some show, and it wasn't. To me, it didn't seem like it was about the cards and the fun of buying, selling, collecting. It was like just this hyped up weird show with Ice Cube performing, and just didn't seem like
right.
Not Ice, Vanilla Ice.
I think he's performing at this one, isn't he? On Saturday.
He really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how that goes then. I mean, it's definitely, these card shows have evolved quite a bit very quickly. I think Pokemon Worlds was always the epitome, the perfection of a collector gathering. And then all those typical card shows were just so run down and whatever. But now they've gotten so nice, so big, maybe too big, and unfocused on the wrong things. But I'm excited. There's going to be a ton of people there that we know, a lot of our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll all be there. We'll have to rip some Fortnite.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. The main thing for me is like the people that I get to see. I saw both of you guys in Vegas back in October. That's the last event I went to. You went to Leonhardt's pop-up shop, but that whole weekend, like Nick and I didn't go. I was looking at Instagram and I'm like, man, everyone's hanging out, having a great time, and I'm not there.
No, the Friday night, the like VIP like influencer night or whatever was the closest feel to the last Pokemon Worlds because it was just like the same people and a solid night. And then his pop-up shop event was just pretty phenomenal. I think it just blew up more than he thought it would. So
Yeah.
But it was fun. Definitely a good weekend.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hoping sales are going to be good at CollectCon. It'll be interesting to compare it to. I vended at the second event, the second ever CollectCon event, and sales were really good then. So it'll be interesting to compare them to now, how sales compare now, where kind of the hype has died down, but the events are bigger. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Definitely more people. Are you bringing stuff to sell, Dan? Or are you just going?
I'm probably gonna go with like a backpack. I might have binders, might have a couple things of PSA slabs, sale trade. I don't know. But my main thing is gonna be just going and seeing people. If sales happen, if buys happen, great. But that's not gonna be the goal for the weekend.
Are you just getting your own spot? Is Zach going? Is that going to be?
Zach's going. He's not vending.
Okay.
I did. What did I do? I got 3 tables, and then Crystal Pokemon and Pallet Town Pokemon got 1 table right next to me. So we'll all be there together.
Okay.
Which will be nice.
Yeah. I can't stand sitting behind those tables at shows. I have to move around.
Yeah, no, like if it's anything like what even was the name of that? The one down in Tampa.
Collectors Con.
Yes, if it's anything like that, it's gonna be a miserable weekend.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be either way, whether it's busy or not. It'll be exciting just to see everyone, hang out with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna definitely treat it as a mini vacation. I'm flying down Thursday, flying home Monday afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I think Laura and I are going to Disney afterwards, so we're going to spend a couple more days.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, really make it a vacation. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I think. No, I just got back from Arizona, so it's nice to keep going to these warm spots every few weeks.
I tried tempting the wife with Disney.
Oh, it didn't work.
Didn't happen. No.
Dang.
2 young kids. She can't leave them for that long. I'm probably just going to do 2 nights.
Yeah.
I was asking Nick, Friday, Saturday night or Saturday, Sunday night? What would be if you had to do 2 only?
It's always been Friday, Saturday. Fridays, shorter day usually, right? For setup and all that.
Well, Friday is not even, it's only open Saturday, Sunday, right?
Oh,
yeah.
It is?
Yeah. Oh. The event's only Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I think flying in Friday night and leaving Sunday night would be the go-to, but people like to hang out and do stuff.
See, I thought Saturday and Sunday night, because usually there's a lot more going on Sunday night after it's wrapped up.
Yeah, but I'm lame, so I
don't. One thing I gotta figure out is like I think the Vanilla Ice concert Saturday, which I'm fine missing. Sunday though, I think is the box break, and I think it goes till 6 p.m. And there's not like a huge flight selection with where I live up in the woods in New York. So the one thing I was running into, like I don't know if there'll be a late enough flight out Sunday that I could be there the whole time. So I was leaning slightly towards Saturday, Sunday night.
Yeah,
fly back Monday. Yeah, I might go that route. Then if I do Friday night, Saturday night, then I'm going to be back late Sunday. I guess missing the whole weekend with the kids and stuff. Whereas if I go Saturday, Sunday, I get to see them on Friday, and then I'm cutting into a work day on Monday anyways.
Right.
So
Got to get the boss's approval.
yeah, I'll have to see when the flights are exactly, but
yeah, that's probably the right move. And yeah, people definitely will be getting together Sunday night more so than Friday, probably. And that box break is going to take forever.
I forget where I heard it, but I think I heard that they want to have all 4 boxes broken in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, which that terrifies me.
There's
for anyone who buys.
There's no way, unless they're doing them like
there's
at the same time.
That's what I think is happening. There's 8 or so people opening packs, and I think they're just going to be.
If they have 4 tables on the stage and they just do them like that's reasonable and fine to me, or like do one after the other, just do like cascading opens, almost like at Leonhardt's thing.
Yeah.
And just cascade down. And then by the time the 4th one's opened, you go back to table 1, they've already got the pack like part unsealed, ready to go.
That's probably how they'll do it there.
But like Pokemon Saves the World,
that took way too long.
And that was like people opening their own packs, and
they weren't organized or ready for it.
There were logistical issues going on there, and hopefully they can have it all set up properly. But I need to find out when that hour and a half is scheduled to be, just so that I can make sure I'll definitely be there for that, because I'm going to try to win some packs.
Yeah. I think Blake Martinez said he's doing a shadowless box break as well, just like off to the side.
And how crazy is that? Like a shadowless box break being like a side event.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Heritage is auctioning off currently. They're live on Heritage. Base set first edition, Beta Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legend of Blue Eyes first edition, and then Metazoo Kickstarter. Crazy slate of box breaks.
That beta still blows my mind. That's what I'm more excited for. Like, there's not a lot of those, and you rarely ever see them. So that'll be really exciting. I mean, I've seen so many Pokemon boxes open now at this point. Not that I don't like I still love watching it, but the beta magic is just really, really exciting. And I don't even own any like beta cards or anything, or alpha, but I just love watching that stuff.
I've picked up a couple odd alpha magic cards like BGS 9, PSA 9. Just like my cousins played it. I never got into it, but I remember some arts that my cousins had. Probably not alpha or beta, probably like unlimited or whatever, revised. But I've just been picking up some that like feel nostalgic, like I've seen them before and I recognize them. I couldn't even tell you what the what they're titled now, like the names of the cards, even having bought them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so excited for the atmosphere. Like if a beta Lotus gets pulled, if a base first Charizard gets pulled,
Bigfoot Kickstarter.
Hopefully out of your pack.
Yeah.
No, it'll definitely be a good time. For sure.
Yeah. Super excited. Any other hot topics, pressing topics you guys have?
I think we covered about everything that I wanted to.
Yeah, I it just seems so slow these days because you can't grade anything. Everybody knows what's going on. There's so much information out there now. It's tough to have any hot takes or anything, but I'm just waiting for the first magic first snap set to get put together now that the Magic Harp's out there. So
the Pikachus that have come up in the past, were they ever sold successfully, or do we not really know?
Not the last one, and the one
they
that
were
was
just
like,
listed and then delisted.
Yeah, the one that was like 10 or 12 years ago, I wasn't around for, so I don't know what happened to that. But someone's got them.
Yeah,
someone's got them. Yeah, busy year for sure with all this Pokemon stuff happening, all these shows popping up. Like that's the next thing that everyone's going to talk about is what companies are going to fail, what companies are going to blow up, what shows are going to what's going to be the next Comic-Con, but for cards now.
Mhm.
So there's like we're again in another infancy of a new era of Pokemon and card collecting.
And
Like I
Collecticon just launched last year, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
they launched right with COVID.
they seem to have like a foothold. Like they seem to be the one most people are going to, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think they're definitely going to become the one, at least for like TCGs, Pokemon especially.
Yeah.
I don't know how Dallas was, but both the Collecticons in Fort Worth, Texas, it was like 95% Pokemon.
Yeah.
and I kind of bummed, but like part of the reason I'm looking to go to Orlando now is because Charlie, for people who know Churlocker, Legends Expo was supposed to happen in October, right?
Mhm.
And then it was supposed to happen in April. I don't know 100%, but it seems pretty unlikely that it's going to be happening. Postponement again. Definitely his plans for what that could become. I'm on board with it, and I love Charlie. I definitely, if he's able to get that up and running, I want to put that into my like slate of intended events to go to, because I'm not someone who's going to be going 12, 15, 20 events a year ever.
Yeah.
2 to 4 is what I've told the wife is my intent, and two to four feels like a good number. For what I kind of envision is like Worlds would be a staple,
Yeah.
because it's Worlds, and then maybe a couple Collecticons, and then maybe Legends Expo, something of that nature. Maybe a wild card in there if something else interesting popped up, but
Yeah.
I know John,
I think
you're
Charlie has a
you're a world traveler going to
four a
events
month.
left and right.
Yeah, it's been absolutely wild. I mean, I definitely took advantage of the opportunities to go to all these things and do it all. I think like, you can always kind of have a little anxiety flying once you first start, like getting used to it. Then you get super comfortable. Then I got too comfortable. So I have anxiety flying again because I just did it too much. But yeah, it's, I would like to get more selective now because I've done it all and it's become the same event almost every time, the same people, same thing, same and all that, which is great. I love the people I get to see, but it's just expensive and it's
Oh yeah.
you gotta be sure you're looking out for the benefits of the business and all that too. So I'm hoping to get more selective with it. Laura gets invited to all these things and which is she's always, going to be the face of a lot of these things, I think too. So I'll just be tagging along with her,
Yeah.
which is great. She's crushing it. And so it's a lot of fun being a part of that. But yeah, Charlie's Legends Expo is, I think, truly going to be set up to be the big event if it catches the right wave. He's got a lot more in-depth plan for those types of events to include a lot more people. So I think his events lined up to be huge. It's got to happen. You got to get it running. Got to get his feet wet.
Yeah.
Um,
and see where it goes.
Yeah, hopefully it does happen. That would be a nice one because it was going to be right in Virginia. So that's a relatively easy drive as opposed to having to fly down.
Yeah. Yeah. Geographically, that is better for all of us. We're all
Yeah.
up in the
Yeah.
Northeast.
Yeah.
And Collecticon was supposed to have either a Boston or New York. Hopefully next year they will.
So bummed they didn't.
I think part of the reason they didn't is just because of the pandemic regulations or whatever are a bit.
I was told.
I think
I was told Boston, so I was really excited for that one. But
yeah, I was talking to I forget I forget who. One of the brothers, though. And he was saying they were tentatively planning one for Boston. I was talking to him at the Pokemon Saves the World event, and then they released a schedule, and closest one to Boston's North Carolina.
Charlotte is one. I'm gonna try to make Charlotte probably.
When is
I'll
Charlotte?
stay at Rusty's house.
It's in June.
Oh boy, I have a wedding to go to in June.
Hopefully it lines up right.
Let's hope so.
June 4th to 5th.
Hmm.
Do you know when your wedding is or no?
It's in June. I don't know.
Well, you got like a 1 in 4 shot probably that
Yeah.
it hits that weekend.
Yeah.
75% chance it's not that weekend. So hopefully you hit.
Well, with my luck in Vegas, it's definitely that weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you had a rough. Did you have a rough go during that Pokemon Saves the World event? I think everybody did that was playing.
We left some money in Vegas.
Yeah. The Pokemon Saves the World event, I did pretty good. The casinos in Vegas, they definitely didn't have very much luck there.
Well, we did good on our packs in that we pulled a lot of hollows and stuff, but we still lost several $1,000s.
Oh yeah.
Good times though. Good times for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've got to be at or around 2 hours, right?
We're 2 hours 20 minutes now. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
I think this will do.
Very much appreciate you coming on, John. It's always great to chat and.
Yeah, no, good to see you. And,
thanks for including me
in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll see you guys down in Orlando and appreciate the invite. I always love doing this stuff. I'm getting old now, so it's getting late, but
yeah.
I mean, you got kids. I can have a lot of complaining. But yeah, dude, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I miss doing the podcast myself, so it's fun to hop in with you guys and can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah, I miss having that content on while I'm packing orders or doing eBay listings, and
I've been getting bugged about it a lot. So I gotta figure something out because I'd love to do it. I just
are we gonna see episode 2 with Ryan? You guys have a name for that one?
No.
Ryan.
No, I don't know.
It's a quarterly thing, right? Or annual, biannual,
possibly annual.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm like I was ready to go, and then my schedule just didn't work out. So, I gotta just set time aside and stick to it. It's just really tough. So
yeah,
there's not enough time in the day. That's what it is.
Yeah. But, all right. Well, thank you guys again, and hopefully we get some nice pulls when we're in Orlando or find some nice deals. I gotta bring some stuff to move around. So
a lot of good deals at the old school Pokemon table. Come on by.
I'm sure our next podcast too, Nick and I will probably have a long breaking down how it all went, and we'll definitely.
Well, no, I think we have one more podcast before Orlando.
Oh, we might.
You should do a challenge. Do like a $5,000 challenge or something. Take $5,000 with you, buy what you can, and see how you can flip
see what it can turn into.
That would be a cool video, actually.
That would be. I'm gonna buy. I have no idea what beta packs go for. I'm gonna buy one of those and hit a Lotus. They probably go for a lot more than $5,000 though, if I had to guess.
Honestly, well, 5 times there's 60 packs. What if they go for $5,000 at 60? How does that? 300,000? I don't think they're that much.
I didn't even realize there were 60 packs.
There's 60 packs, right?
Aren't they like 15 card packs too?
Or no, it is 30.
Is it 30 packs?
It might be 30, not 36. Because I think they're 15 card packs. Maybe it's 36.
Yeah, that's right. They are thick. That's right.
Open Boosters did that. I watched some of his series on opening a box.
It is 30. It's 12, 12, 12. Yeah, it's 36.
So those are. I'd imagine they're over $10,000. I would think they're more. than a base first box.
I don't think they are, which is the crazy thing.
Oh, I don't think I gambled 10 grand on first Shadowless and Unlimited. I don't think I'm going to go 10 grand on beta, which I don't even know. Who knows though? Maybe Scott will win 4 packs and I'll win 2 again. And
yeah, well, I'm not going in with you on a beta pack. Just say it.
You're gonna regret that.
Yeah, no, I'm probably not even going to touch them. Not even going to throw in a low bid.
You'll throw in what you think is a low bid, but then it'll end up being a high bid, and you'll win the whole box.
Yeah. Oh God. But yeah, good upcoming content to look forward to. Talking about Orlando more and
more Orlando,
recounting our journeys with John down in Orlando in a couple episodes. So
yeah.
Thanks
Sounds
everyone
good.
for watching. Thanks for all the questions. Some great conversations we had, and got to get the additional insight of Radar in. So you're getting more bang for your buck than just Nick and I as usual. So it's always fun to have a guest on, get some additional insight.
Definitely
We had
a
some
little
good split, like different takes on certain topics. So that's always good to see.
Differing opinions this time.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely a little bit more wild and rambunctious with my money and when I'm buying. So it's a little different than what you guys do, I guess, right?
I guess before we close it out, just to keep the meme continuing. John, do you return your shopping carts when you're done shopping?
I do. And
Okay.
I'm so glad that you guys have brought that up, because it's something that I've been asking people for years. And it's the true way to determine how a governing or a self-governing system will work or not. So
Nick would be one of the savages just bringing the end to civilization. He clearly can't self-govern.
I so want to do a video of me just in the parking lot with like no cars around and just hucking the carriage in across the that'd be so funny. I don't have the YouTube production quality though.
I just bought a new car and I traded in my old one. Like if I was still driving that 09 that I would have volunteered my car to be like the prop for that video, to just get the cart smashed into. That would be funny. But for anyone who's stuck around for 2.5 hours, we appreciate you and figured we'd throw the meme in there. So hopefully that's appreciated. But we could carry on for another hour. We might as well close it out now. So
yeah, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. Thanks again, John, for joining us. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. We will catch you all later.
Have a good one.